you how I got to like get familiar with the word growth. So growing up, I had like people around me who were like my age range, and they'll be like, "Oh, I used to do this thing before. Why don't do it again?" And you just hear people say, "Growth, growth, growth." So yes, that's how I got to like get familiar with the word growth. I'm just kidding. I have like a newsletter. In my first video, I talked about a newsletter that I started putting out, and I started doing that last year, August. So it's more than a year already. Wow! I started doing this as a visit to the instruction God gave me. That was even long ago. I think that was still when I was in Abuja. And when I received that instruction, I didn't even know what to do, how to create a newsletter or anything. So it was really strange to me. And even as at when I wanted to start last year, it was still only MailChimp that I know. Aside from Outlook, Gmail, it was just MailChimp. I know that, okay, I could use as the email marketing module to send out this newsletter. However, I got to know Bravo. So plus I also started an Instagram page for this newsletter. So what I do on this Instagram page is I just put out an excerpt of the letter for that day, just for people who have not subscribed to the letter. This is why I'm begging you to subscribe to this channel. For people who have not subscribed to the letter, who don't receive this newsletter. So I just decided, okay, I was just going to be putting it out there, and it was in form of graphics. So I had to do the design, the graphics design, and I am the social media manager. I am the graphics designer. So that is the way it is. However, looking at the designs that I started with, I don't know if I can say I'm proud of it, but I feel like I've really seen the growth in what I've been doing. So I started by just like making a plain graphics, the title page, then I'll have different slides. However, as things progressed, I started adding pictures to the design. That is what I started doing, and fortunately I started seeing like different ways that I can just up the design I'm doing, even though I still feel like I'm not there yet. I moved from that to just creating 5 slides to 2 slides. Then recently I introduced a guide to the audience, the followers, and I was just looking at it. I've been struggling to actually design this particular Pixar character. I tried my best. I used Photo. There's this platform called Photo where you can either use your image to create a Pixar character, or you probably just describe what you want. But you have to subscribe. You can't keep changing the character's attributes. You have to stick with whatever it is you have made the first time. If you want to make any changes, you have to subscribe. And that's a lot. However, I talked to someone and he recommended different platforms. He also told me about someone who actually let people know about the resources available for different things. So I decided to actually follow the person and to get what I want. To cut the long story short, I created the character and I introduced the character to the audience. What am I saying? When I first started creating this design, I remember telling myself that I was not going to delete any of the design. I want to come back to that page, look at how I started, look at the growth, and actually appraise myself to know whether I'm still, it's not even up to a year I started that page, so to know whether I've made progress or I'm still at the same point, I'm still at the same place I was last year. So anytime I go to that page, I just look at the designs, the graphic designs I made, and I see the difference. It makes me so happy to see that growth. And this is me also like just putting this out there. You don't need to start something with perfection. I don't know who started that. I don't know if it's a principle or a mindset. I don't think you need to start things perfectly. I feel like what really matters is the fact that people get to see the growth. People go to your page and they see that, oh, this is how you started. This is who you are currently. And they know that this person, in 2 months, in 3 months, this person will not still be the same person. Something would have changed about this person. I encourage people. I tell them to start anyways. You don't need to have all the right gadgets. You don't need to have all the right resources in place. Just start from somewhere. If you ask people who are doing big things now, if you ask them how they started, most of them will tell you. I'm saying most because there are some people, they already have all these things when they started. Good luck to them. But most people will tell you that they had to start with what they had. They had to start with. Fun fact, I'm actually recording this video with an Android phone. I have an iPhone. I'm recording this video with an Android phone because I discovered that the video I record with my Android is better than the video I record with my iPhone. So I decided that, okay, I'm just going to stick to recording with my Android before I get a camera. It's actually funny because people will tell you, oh, I don't have an iPhone, that's why I've not started creating. Yes, I know that there are some Android phones that the camera quality is bad. However, start from somewhere. When you go on TikTok, you see people who started with, I don't want to name a brand with a poor camera quality. Both started with like the worst camera quality, and right now things are just different. Remember in my first video when I talked about you planting a seed and you nurturing it and it matures, right? So like every aspect of our life should also be seen in that light. Let me take character as an example. Let's say you feel like, oh, at this point you need to change the way you act, you need to change the way you talk. Start from somewhere. Start from somewhere. Start by probably writing down what you want to start doing differently. Write down what you want to do differently. Then you start being conscious of yourself. There's a short I have on mindfulness. I feel like if you've not watched it, go and watch it. Don't forget to go and watch it. And there's something I started, like I said in that video, I have like a mindfulness reminder. So what that reminder does for me is that by 12 p.m. I have like a checklist of things that I'll just check. Okay, how have I reacted to things today? How have I interacted with this person today? What have I decided to meditate on today? It's a mindfulness check. That's what I named the reminder, actually, mindfulness check. So you can put in like those structures, those systems around yourself just to help you, just to track your growth, to actually just to see, okay, when was I last year? What did I do? We're in December, so you should be able to do that this December so that in the new year, you just don't repeat the same cycle. I don't think growth is you starting something today and tomorrow everything is fine, everything is perfect. No, that's not growth. You know, when people just say, you're different, you look different. It didn't start that day or a day before. It probably started months, weeks before. The difference, probably you decided to change your fashion sense. You start by, okay, changing your wardrobe. You change the kind of hairstyle you make. You change the kind of shoe you wear. You change the kind of jewelry you wear. It started with a step and you continue. It's a process. It's not, growth is a process. It's not something that you just sleep and wake up and everything is perfect. So that's not what growth is. Growth is a process. So I don't expect people to start something today and they are 100% perfect in it tomorrow. I'll even question what you're doing. Actually, I'm just joking, but yeah, I'm going to question it. There's this club I support, and there's this player is actually a defender, and last season he was not really doing well, and the fan base of that club was actually complaining about the passes he make, about how he tackles, about how he defends. However, since pre-season, actually, not even at the beginning of this season, since pre-season, I noticed a difference in how he defends. Now, the way he tackles is not as if it's perfect, but it's different. You can see the progress in what he's doing. And recently they had a match and people were just praising him. I said, I've actually been watching this guy since pre-season and I noticed the difference. He definitely worked on himself. Either he went to watch videos of defenders who had played for the club, because this club is actually a big club, who had played for the club and they've made a name for themselves, and other defenders with other clubs, and he decided to learn from them. If you want to grow, you need to learn from people who have actually done what you want to do or what you're doing. So that's one way to grow. Please subscribe to this channel and like this video.